Hi, my name is Sardek, and I am thrilled to have the opportunity to interview the CEO of IMPACT60 Learning Systems, Bobby Butler. As we interview Bobby, what you'll hear is an innovative approach to training that does not exist in the marketplace today. I think you'll be fascinated by what you hear, but more importantly, I think what you'll find is you'll find his approach to be refreshing, cost-effective, faster, better than anything you can imagine. So join me as I interview Bobby Butler, and he explains to you the approach that his organization uses quite effectively to drive costs down and transferability of the training up in your organization.
So Bobby, tell me, who are you and what is it that you do?
I'm Bobby Butler, and I'm CEO of IMPACT60 Learning Systems.
Is there any significance to the name that you provided for your company?
Well, yes, there is. One of the key things that customers are looking for in today's marketplace is how training is actually impacting their organization, the results that they get from training. And so we use the word impact to emphasize that all of our training is built to bring about results for customers. And we attach the 60-minute number to it because that's how we build our workshops. All of our workshops are built on a 60-minute delivery platform.
Your branded name of the core product is 60 Minutes for Impact workshops. So why the 60 Minutes for Impact?
Again, one of the reasons why we started IMPACT60 Learning Systems is to address the inherent problems in traditional instructor-led training. And one of the key and the most critical inherent problem is the fact that traditional instructor-led training takes a day or 2 days or 3 days or longer in order to do. And so since we figured out a way to chunk that material down or distill it down to the actionable behaviors that we really want participants to take back to the job and implement, and we built a 1-hour structure, that allows us to help customers to make impact on their employees, impact on their operations, impact on their business because of our workshop tools, if you will. And then, of course, the other thing, because it's a system and not a program, and we not only have the facilitation guides in the PowerPoint deck, but we have the coaching manuals. We also, incidentally, built into our workshop a level 3 observational evaluation tool for every workshop. And so all of those tools together allows clients now to be able to conduct a training, for their participants to implement the training, and for their supervisors and managers to support the training.
So tell us, why did you start IMPACT60 Learning Systems?
Well, I've been in the training business for about 10 years. Before that, I was in the industry for some 25 years in primarily operational and management executive positions, etc. And in about the 2007-2008 timeframe, I started hearing from customers, whether they were training professionals or operational professionals, complaints about instructor-led training, the fact that it cost too much, that it took people away from the job for too long of a period of time, that it overloaded people with content, that it was not easily transferable back to the job, so on and so forth. And when I started hearing those things and hearing them on a regular basis, I realized that while instructor-led training is still a very important part of how we do formal training today, still represents about 70% of all formal training, it really hasn't kept up with changes across our economy and within the business environment. And so I decided to look at how we can bring instructor-led training into the 21st century.
What makes IMPACT60 Learning Systems so different from the traditional platforms of training that are out there today?
Well, as you know, instructor-led training is typically done in a day or 2 days or 3 days at a time or more. And That's the basic platform. And what we've done, we've looked at how we can take that 1, 2, 3 day program, if you will, distill the content down to the actionable behaviors, skills that you want people to learn and take back to the job. And we built an action learning based workshop system to be able to deliver that training. And then we've also built into the format the different types of implementation tools and support tools that essentially most traditional programs do not have.
In the marketplace today, leaders are looking for all intents and purposes, coaching. And you just referenced the fact that IMPACT60 Learning Systems has a coaching platform already built into the practice and the program, which is very different from most traditional training programs. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more about your built-in coaching process and how it works.
Well, let me start by talking about the components that we build into every workshop. Every workshop consists of 4 components. There's a facilitator's guide and instruction manual. Totally turnkey, everything that's needed to prepare for, to deliver, and support the training is built into that tool. Every workshop has an accompanying PowerPoint presentation. Every workshop has a supervisor's coaching guide, and every workshop, of course, has the participant workbook. Now, getting back to the supervisor's coaching guide. Because our workshops are short in duration, 1 hour long, what we wanted to do was to build a coaching platform that allowed the immediate supervisors of the participants to sit with them, to talk with them about what they've learned, to talk with them about how they're going to implement it, to give them some suggestions around that implementation. And so we built our coaching guide to facilitate that. And now this is not a long and drawn out coaching process, if you will. Essentially what we've done is built the ability for supervisors, managers, etc., participants to start a coaching conversation. And to have that coaching conversation, do it within 10, 15, 20 minutes and move on.
You mentioned that there are 7 problems that are inherent in the traditional instructor-led training programs. IMPACT60 Learning Systems addresses those. Tell us about that.
Well, we actually did some research in the 2007-2008 timeframe when I started first hearing about the complaints. And what we found through our research are these 7 problems. And they are time away from the job, the overloading of information, formal and passive deliveries, the poor transferability, inability to measure impact, logistical inflexibilities, and cost-inefficiencies. And whether you are a participant, an operational manager and executive, or a training professional, you've been impacted or affected by any or all 7 of those issues.
Bobby, the IMPACT60 Learning Systems process has several key strategic advantages built into the platform, one of which is 1 skill, 1 hour design strategy. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that one.
Well, the whole concept is to take that content that maybe takes a day or 2 to teach and basically distill it down to those core skills, capabilities, behaviors that you really want people to go back to the job and put into place. And you focus on those kinds of things where you can teach them within a 1 hour platform. And so let's take communication skills as an example. Certainly we can't teach everything about communication skills within a 1 hour workshop. But what we can do is break it down into perhaps 2 or 3 different workshops and focus on key attributes of communication skills that customers or clients really need addressed within their environment. And we do that by focusing on that one skill or that one subset of a skill at a time, as opposed to trying to do everything related to communications, better communications, if you will. That's our approach. That's our strategy.
And another key strategic advantage that's built into the platform is a content strategy that is participant-centric focused. Tell us about that one.
Well, it's been my experience that because most content is developed by a content designer, and that content designer, while certainly very good at what they do, may not be focused on building the program around the participant and how the participant interacts with that material and takes that material back to the job and use. Rather, it's more content-centric or subject-centric. And what we do instead is build all of our workshops from the participant's perspective.
Yet another key strategic advantage of the platform is each of the programs are interactive and collaborative. They're experientially-based, and they're based on the action learning-driven delivery format. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it kind of relates to the whole participant-driven strategy in that what we try to do with our workshops is to make sure that we get participants actively engaged in the learning as soon as possible. Now, keep in mind, our workshops are only an hour long. And so that means almost from the very beginning. And as you know, when it comes to adult learning, statistics says that, adults learn by doing. And so we take that concept and we built that into our model. The other thing is that adults learn by sharing, by relating to the subject in terms of their skills, in terms of their capabilities. For an example, let's say you've got 10 people in a workshop, and this happens to be a workshop on handling conflict. There are 2 dynamics that probably are going to be in that workshop in terms of skills and current skills and capabilities. Number 1, if you have 10 people, you probably have 1 or 2 that have pretty good skills in that area. They just need to get a little bit better. You're probably going to have 2 or 3 people that have absolutely abominable skills and really need to fix those problems. And then you're going to have the middle of the road guys and ladies who are not great at it, not terrible at it, and certainly can be better. Out of those 10 people, you're probably also going to have 1 or 2 people that just dealt with a conflict this morning if it's an afternoon workshop, or a few people that had a conflict the day before or the week before, so on and so forth. And again, given their current skills, they're either going to have great experiences, terrible experiences, or okay experiences. You put those 2 dynamics together and you give people an opportunity to share their own experiences in relationship to the skill that we want to teach. Then you're getting active buy-in, active participation. And if you're doing multiple workshops with us and you put people in cohorts, you're also going to get the dynamic over a short period of time where people are going to not only share with each other during the class, but between classes. And think about the power of that, especially if you tie in some type of social capability. That's what we mean about interactive, collaborative, and action learning oriented. All of our workshops are built on that model.
And the workshops have another key strategic advantage in the pricing. It's very innovative. So tell us a little bit about your innovative approach to pricing.
Well, it's been my experience that most corporate training, especially good corporate training, is primarily built for large companies. because only large companies can afford it. We took the approach that we wanted to bring top quality corporate training to the marketplace and price it in such a way that every organization, be it large or small, can utilize our workshops. And so for the small customer, let's say a client that maybe only needs to train 5, 10, 15, up to, let's say, 50 people. We actually built an e-commerce platform that allows them to go on our site, review every workshop, learn about them, see samples, make purchases from the e-commerce platform at price points built for the small business customer. And then for a larger client who maybe has 50 or more, 100, 200, 1,000 people, we built an annual lease program that allows them to lease our workshops on an annual basis, and the base price allows them to train up to 100 people at no additional cost. And if they have more than 100 people, they get large user discounts. Very different from the typical training programs.
It absolutely sounds very different. And then there's another key strategic advantage that you bring to the table, and that is your Turnkey Facilitator's Guide and Instructions Manual and the cost savings that comes along with that. So tell us a little bit about that.
One of the other problems that especially small, maybe even mid-sized organizations have in terms of being able to budget and purchase high-quality corporate training and do it on a regular basis is the fact that they can't, while they might be able to afford the materials, they can't afford the instruction costs related to that. And of course, again, if you're teaching 1 and 2 and 3 day programs, you need a professional instructor to be able to do that. And most organizations either require, if they allow you to do the instruction, your people have to be certified. But quite frankly, many don't even allow the instruction to be done external to their own organization. We took a completely different approach. We built our workshops with the concept that the customer should decide who does the delivery and whether or not they want to save on delivery cost. And so every workshop comes with a turnkey Facilitator's Guide and Instruction Manual with everything in that document to prepare, deliver, and support the training, including, by the way, even a response letter to the registration of participants to make sure that they understand if there's preparation work that needs to be done, what they need to do, when they should come to the training, and what they should expect. All of that's built into it. In fact, we also built into our instructor guide all the content that we researched and used to build our workshops. And we put those in there in the form of articles so that instructors do not have to go to other sources to do any background research to prepare for the workshops. That's completely unique in this industry.
IMPACT60 Learning Systems has a comprehensive training approach, and that approach has where a workshop consists of 4 key components that collectively make up each workshop's content. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, when we decided to build our platform, we wanted to take a systems approach. And from our perspective, a systems approach is to make sure that you build content to engage all parties responsible for the development of employees. Certainly that's the instructor and participant, but also quite often the immediate supervisor or manager is forgotten. Well, we haven't done that. We've made sure that our content includes a facilitation guide and instruction manual, a accompanying PowerPoint deck to assist the instructor when he or she is delivering the training, a supervisor's coaching guide, and the participant workbook.
What are the key benefits for the customer and the client given this approach that you use?
Well, if you go back to those 7 problems that we talked about earlier. The three most important ones are not overloading participants with information, being able to easily transfer the training back to the job, and then also being able to measure impact and those types of things. If you don't solve those problems, you're not really serving the clients the way clients need to be served today. And so when we decided to build our programs, we decided to build our programs to solve those problems. And I think that that's really one of the key things that makes us very different from typical or traditional instructor-led training, is the fact that all of our workshops are built on a platform dedicated to solving the 7 problems.
Bobby, we've heard some great things about the approach that the IMPACT60 Learning Systems has. So why should customers and clients use the 60 Minutes for Impact workshops?
Simple. It's a faster, better, and more cost-effective way to train in today's workplace environment.